the Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. To find out where to buy gold and silver reliably at great prices, go get your free Financial Survival Toolkit at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. You'll also get our complimentary newsletter. This is the Financial Survival Network.
1490 WGCH. This is Kerry Lutz, and you're listening to the Financial Survival Network, which is brought to you by Miles Franklin. They've been in business selling gold and silver for over 20 years, and I'm a customer because when you buy, they ship. For more information, find them on the web at milesfranklin.com or give them a call at 800-822-8080 and get a free quote. 1490 WGCH. This is Kerry Lutz, and we're back on the Financial Survival Network. Remember, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and find us on the web at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. So I've got the investment play, perhaps of the decade. You've been following the show. You know that Nanny Bloomberg, a.k.a. Michael Bloomberg, mayor of New York City, he's still at it. He wasn't content with banning trans fats from your diet. He wasn't content from trying to eliminate nicotine from your life. Now he's on to bigger and better things, and that is the Big Gulp sugary soft drink that you find in convenience stores, in fast food stores. Street vendors serve them. Personally, I've never had them because anytime I try with those big cups, I wind up squeezing them, the top pops off, and I spill on myself. So that's reason enough not to do it. I try to stick with cans, but even bottles, those plastic bottles of soda, they're 20 ounces, and they will come into this ban. Personally, I think it's unconstitutional. I think even New York State's activist judges will draw a line here, but you know what? When it comes to the courts, you never know. As if that's bad enough, the Big Gulp, the 32-ounce super size, he wants to get rid of it. But what if you wanted to share it with the kids? The super size is cheaper than buying 2 or 3 16-ounce cups. And you pass it around. I used to do this with my kids, especially when you're in the movies, because they rip you off on the soda, on the water, on the popcorn, you name it. But now they're going after shakes, and they're going after popcorn. Now, they want to control it all. This shouldn't really come as a surprise to you. This is about totalitarianism, the nanny state knowing what's better for you than you do. And pretty soon they're going to be enforcing the entire food pyramid, shoving it down your throat. They already do it in the schools. And don't forget, if you're on food stamps or the electronic equivalent of food stamps, you can't use them to buy sugary drinks. And I think they stopped you from using them to buy alcohol as well. So this is your nanny state at work. And once they get started, there's no stopping them. Let's use this example. What if they decide that shoelaces are dangerous because if they become untied, you might trip on them, crossing the street, get hit by a car, and then the government will have to pay for you when you're in a semi-vegetative state for the next 20 years. So next, you can see them saying, all right, zippers, Velcro, or boots only. No shoelaces allowed. And you know that sitting in the sun can cause skin cancer. So you're not going to be allowed on a city beach unless you've got sunblock, sunscreen, SPF 30 or higher, as well as a large hat and an umbrella. Because after all, when you get cancer, the government will have to pay for it. Oh, and if you plan on listening to music too loudly, well, they're going to put governors on your stereo system if you have one, and your earphones will only be able to go to a certain volume, because if you go deaf and you're crossing the street, you might get hit by a car because you couldn't hear it. And then you're going to be in long-term care that the government's going to have to pay for. And forget those loud rock concerts or rap concerts that you love. No more for you, because you might go deaf. And look, let's look at whole milk. It's got so much fat in it. that fat's going to go to clog your arteries. And you're going to wind up needing open heart surgery for $50,000 or $100,000 that the government's going to have to pay for. So drink up that skim milk you love so much. It's so flavorful and so nutritious. And make a toast to Nanny Bloomberg, chief nanny of the nanny state. You know, this is what I've been telling you about. People laugh. They don't want you to have an SUV because you use too much gasoline. Doesn't matter whether you can afford it or not. But when they want to go take their private jets, like Nanny Bloomberg in the middle of the snowstorm, paralyzing snowstorm, he flies off to his digs in Bermuda, and he emits more carbon than is imaginable, leading to so-called global warming, which, in my opinion, doesn't really exist. But they're only trying to save you from yourself. And you need their help because you don't know any better, because you're stupid, you're middle class, you've attended the dumbed-down schools where they taught you that the government is just there to help you. And if you remember, that's one of the greatest lies. Hi, I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. You know, Gerald Ford said it. It's been said many times before. The government that is big enough to give you everything that you want is powerful enough to take away everything you have, including your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. This is why you need to make a stand now. Whether you're organizing Wall Street, opposing Wall Street, whatever it is, they're out to take your freedoms away. There's no question. This is what it's about. They want control over the internet, a so-called emergency switch, so you can't communicate. Look, they've never liked cars. The government hates cars. Why do they hate them? Because it gives you freedom to go where you want to go, when you want to go there, without anybody's permission. They love the concept of public transit where you're on their schedule. They decide where you go, how you get there, and how much it costs you. This is what it's about. It's really about freedom. It's about the government trying to restrict your freedom. That's what government's about. When this country started, our founding fathers, you know, those people who've just been called slave owners and all sorts of derisive comments, well, they created a constitution way back when, a couple hundred years ago, that was novel, that no one ever thought was possible. And that was a constitution that provided for limited government. It deliberately restricted the powers of the central government over the people, over you, over me. And this system worked great until around the early 1900s when there was a bank panic, and that became the basis for instituting the Federal Reserve. At the same time, we had the amendment granting the income tax. The fact that those two passed at the same time is no accident. And also, we had prohibition. Prohibition was simply the progressives getting rid of the major source of revenue to the government, which was excise taxes on alcohol, and saying, don't worry about it. We'll institute a direct income tax, which will more than make up for the funds lost. And at the time, the average person paid 1% income tax. The rich paid 5%. So from there, the government's now taking more than half of everything you own, and that's something you need to think about. And that wraps up another show. I'm Kerry Lutz. This is 1490 WGCH. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. Have a prosperous week ahead.